What's up, fight fans? We're back at it with another one. Wow, unbelievable. Today's a very, very special episode for me. I have just reached 1,000 subscribers. Man, guys, thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. I woke up this morning and I saw that I had 1,000 subscribers, and I just wanted to thank each and every one of you for subscribing to my channel. And it's just amazing. So without further ado, let's get right into this video. Look, there have been a lot of accusations in the sport of boxing, and a lot of people have thrown around accusations that other fighters are using steroids or performance enhancement drugs. And that has been one of the topics, and I just wanted to make a video and break down some of the ins and outs of steroid testing and the rules inside of boxing, and as well cover up on some of the rules. An individual even pointed out that a lot of people should just stick to the rules of boxing. Well, that is a little complicated in itself, and I'm going to explain why. Each sanctioning bodies has different rules for their fights under their guidelines, and not every state has the same guidelines and the same rules. For case in point, Las Vegas, Nevada allows fighters to put tape on their skin of their hands, just like they do in Japan. When Stephen Kubo Fulton and Naoya Inoue just came into their bout this past July, Stephen Kubo Fulton's team did not want Naoya Inoue to put tape on the skin because they felt like it made a cast surface. Right. Now, if he was to take that same fight, right, and go to Las Vegas, it would be the same rules. But if he was to take that fight to California, he can't put tape on his hands. Just like Usyk the other night when he got hit with that shot. And a lot of people say that it was a low blow, and some people said it was a clean body shot. The rules state, right, that a low blow consists of anywhere near the cup. Even if you touch the top of the cup, that's a low blow. If you touch the side of the cup, that is a low blow. But you must touch the cup. The belt line is a separate, all in itself. Now that right there in itself, each state and city has their own individual rules on what they consider in a fight and what were the rules that you signed to. Meaning, in some instance, if you get knocked down 3 times, the fight is over. Because in the fight, when you signed the contract, the 3 knockdown rule was in effect. And in some fights, the 3 knockdown rule is not in effect. So you can get knocked down 3 times, still get up and continue the fight. You see? So when you say, all you guys should just stick to the rules. Wait a minute. In boxing, it doesn't work that way. It depends what state, what country you're fighting in, and then I'll tell you what the rules were then. What we would have to do is find out what were the rules on that night. And are they going to disclose that now after all this came out? So if by any chance you could find out what the rules were, where they fought, get back to me and then we'll discuss it. Because the rules in boxing are not like... And you would think that if you saw a fight and there was a foul or a rule called in that fight, that should apply to every single fight. Well, it doesn't work like that in boxing, unfortunately. And I can understand where a lot of confusion may lie in there. But you also got to understand that all these separate entities, the boxing sanctioning bodies, do not coincide with each other. The WBC has their own rules. The WBA has their own rules. The IBF has their own rules. And the WBO has their own rules. Just like in steroid testing. They also have their own rules for steroid testing. Versus the UFC, like they use Usada. Usada tests all UFC fighters. And they're under... Usada doesn't play, man. That place is no joke, right? They got the UFC like this, man. Straight as an arrow. Okay? Usada If you don't have a fight scheduled, you're tested. You could be randomly tested 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. Usada has the permission to jump out of anywhere. He'll jump out of a bush. Urine, right? Some fighters have even been. Paulo Costa is the highest tested Usada fighter on their roster. They just tested that dude like 25 times in like the past year, right? It's ridiculous. They be waking him up at 1 a.m. Yo, get up. We needed blood and urine, right? And the way it works in boxing is that to break it down, it's a little confusing because the WBC has their own steroid testing. The WBA has their own steroid testing, the IBF. Some are stricter than the others. And when you start getting unification fights, that's when things get tricky because that other fighter has to agree to this guy's testing methods in order to make all parties satisfied. Floyd Mayweather used to want blood samples out of all his fighters because he knew the best way, and you couldn't lie, it was by blood. You see? Anthony Joshua and these guys, after their last fight, if you go back and you look at some of their post-fight interviews, you see the gauze and where they took the blood out after the fighter. Jamel Charlo's in an interview, he got, right after the fight, they took his blood. Because in some occasions, they will do that. And they will catch the fighter and expose him. Now, some fighters, although, have gone away with this, because some fighters, in most instances, just like a Naoya Inoue, if you achieve this much and he was to pop dirty, that would mean that everything he's accomplished would go under it would be tainted. Everybody would say, nope, he was on steroid the entire time. Okay, that's what they're going to say, right? So some fighters don't want to take that chance. And it's such a small window of error. I don't think that every fighter is doing it. But now some among boxing associations, such as the WBC, the WBO, they're a little bit laid back. They don't test their fighters until they got a fight scheduled. Meaning, the entire time they don't got a fight scheduled, that guy could have been up in the gym juicing. But when the fight is scheduled, they got to get off. So that is, a more fair, I guess, fight, because I think that they need to tighten that up, right? But you don't ever want to get caught unless, like, your name is Canelo Alvarez, like I said, right? Because this guy pops dirty, and he comes out to social media, looks you right in your eye and goes, listen, I popped dirty for the substance that's banned because it's in the meat in Mexico. Well, they went to Mexico supermarkets, and sure enough, that meat was tainted, right? With one of the same chemicals that Canelo got popped for, right? Okay, here's the problem with all that. You might be able to look into the camera and tell a casual fan that, right? But you can't tell me that. Yo, Canelo Alvarez, you don't eat where these people eat. You don't go down to their bodega and buy that kind of meat. You're a multi-million-dollar athlete that you got your own nutritionists, cooks, and chefs, which they order their meat straight from the U.S. They got the freshest, best meat you're a multi-million, and you're going to tell me that you were eating bodega meat? Get the fuck out of here, bro. You might be able to pull that off with regular casual people, but bro, I know you're a millionaire, and even though they know that too, they don't put two and two together. But I do, and I can think real well. Bro, you have chefs that order, you don't cook none of your food. These guys are paid to buy the top meat. Bro, get the hell out of here, bro, that you was eating Mexico meat, bro. Canelo, just because you're Mexican, bro, I don't buy it. But even nevertheless, he's still in the ring, got all 4 belts, whatever. Look, I'm not here to deter you from boxing and some of the things that happen. Yes, there are cheating sometimes, and there's in every sport, for God's sake. Are you going to stop watching it because somebody cheated? Am I going to allow the actions of one person to turn me off from a sport that I love? No, you fucking cheated. You're the fucking the asshole. I'm going to continue to watch great fights because what you do is not going to change my judgment. I'm going to watch Naoya Inoue fight. And as of the gentleman that said that Camille Moulton already lost in one of his fights, sir, that's not a professional fight. That's headgear. That's still an amateur fight. And what I think about Camille Moulton is, you know, look, I don't know much about him, okay? And you could say he doesn't look good in an amateur fight. But there's a lot of fighters that as amateurs, they lost. And when they transitioned to the pros with no headgear and stuff, they excelled. Naoya Inoue did not make the Olympic team. Stephen Kubo Fulton did not make the Olympic team. But yet, when they started their professional careers, they were both undefeated and successfully became world champions. But in the amateurs, they lost. So you can't judge what the kid looked like in an amateur fight with headgear on. And the gloves are like this big. When he comes to the pros, that you got pro level gloves on, 8 ounces, no headgear, right? And there ain't no referee saving the other guys. And it's not no 3 rounds. You don't have to slug it out with a guy because in the back of your mind, you only got 3 rounds to do it. In a professional status, you are more composed. There's time. There's a window. We know what we're doing. There's a feeling out process. In the amateur, there's usually no feeling out process. There's attack, attack, attack. Amateur boxing is not like professional boxing. Totally different ballgame. You can suck in the amateurs and thrive in the pros. You can thrive in the amateurs and suck in the pros. It can go either way. Okay? So, look, I hope I broke down a few things and cleared up a few things, but I just wanted to make this video to thank all the subscribers that has